28 line up in this weekend's Stewards Cup, which of course was won by Who Fit last year in record-breaking time. Nick, draw is absolutely vital in the Stewards Cup, and your fancy is Eskulov of Mark Johnston, who's absolutely flying at the moment. Drawn 17, what do you make of that?
I don't think it'll be too bad for him, particularly because he's a front runner, so he'll be able to make his own way home, whichever, Kieren's got a few options. He's not hard against either fence. So, you could cross over to the stand side, he could go over to the other side, conceivably. He's going to get a clear passage, and I think that's the important thing. And as we've seen already this week, the Mark Johnston horses are flying, and once they, get into a lead, they seem to be very hard to pass. But I think there's a couple of good reasons for backing Eskulov. If you look at just went on the form figures, the last two starts don't look very impressive. You've got a 9 and then you've got a duck egg. But then the 9 came in Black Caviar's Diamond Jubilee, so I think you'd forgive him a slightly below par run in that, because obviously he's running in the Group 1. And then last time out, he ran at Ascot in a 5 furlong handicap. Now 5 furlongs not his trip, and it looks like Ascot's not his track either. He's run there 3 times now, all been disappointing. So I'd be prepared to write that off. Now if you go back a little bit further in his form lines, so ignore that 9 and 0, go back to the previous couple of seconds. Ran a really, really good race at Haydock behind a horse called Slade Power, an Irish sprinter who's really going places. Slade Power's won since that race. Eskulov just gave best then. I think it's just been about half a length. That was a really, really promising run at Haydock. Followed that up with another run in 6 furlong handicap at Newmarket, another really promising run. Finished second behind a horse called Mertzer, who again has won since that race. Had Medici and Man and High Standing, 2 really good sprinters back in 3rd or 4th. Really good runs that, and he's got a very promising run at Goodwood to his name from last season. Finished 2nd in a nursery here at this meeting. So we know he goes on the track. We know 6 furlongs is the best trip, and I think you can safely ignore those last 2 runs. And if you do that, he looks a very progressive sprinter.
He looks a nice price as well, around 20 to 1 at the moment.
Yeah, around 20 to 1. But Kieren Fallon's quite a noteworthy booking, I think, for Mark Johnston. And I think this kind of race will suit him, and you'll see a much better run than you will have done on his last 2 starts. And
a quick line on the few of the others. Victoire de Lifar's been cut into 10s from 12s because he's got a low draw. They're favouring the low draw.
Yeah, Victoire de Lifar's got a good chance. Obviously, Dandy Nicholls got a fantastic record in this race. There's a lot of conjecture earlier in the week that Victoire de Lifar wasn't going to make the cut. It looked that way for a long time, but has squeaked in. So, yeah, one with a definite chance.
Waffle?
Waffle is a regular in these big handicaps, and he seems to run very well in the Woking, and that seems to be his race. You don't know if he'll be able to reproduce it here. It goes without saying, but these kind of sprints are very, very competitive. So he's done very well to finish 2nd in the Woking last season and this season. Whether he can reproduce it, get the same breaks, get the same kind of run in the Stewards Cup, you're not quite sure.
Quick word on Jamesy, who's current favourite. Ran really well at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, and it's interesting, it's trained by David Marnane, who had the winner of the Woking, of course, with Dandy Boy. And I know Tom Seagal is a massive fan of David Marnane. I think you have to respect anything that he brings over. And it long since appears to have been the plan for Jamesy to come for this race. So as his representative, I would give him a good chance, along with the old warrior Max Power, who never seems to win these days, but always seems to run well. That's quite interesting in the way that Kieren Fallon's ridden Max Power before, but obviously he's on Eskulov this time, so he's got quite a good line on both. But you wouldn't be surprised to see another good run from Max Power, but he always just does seem to find one too good for him these days.
All right, so that's Eskulov to win the Stewards Cup at 3:55 at Goodwood on Saturday.